another episode of Book Talk Tuesdays. So today I'll be sharing with you some books that I'm looking forward to reading this summer, and I think you might want to add them to your list as well. So the first one I have is Sea Wife by Amity Gage, and I've not read any of these books that I'm going to talk about tonight, so I'm going to read you a little bit about them. So this novel was loosely inspired by a story that Amity Gage read in the paper and found irresistible. In April 2014, the Coast Guard received a Mayday call from a boat 900 miles off the coast of Mexico. The boat, Rebel Heart, belonged to a couple who was crossing the South Pacific with their 2 young daughters. The couple had lost steerage of their boat and were taking on water. A complicated and expensive rescue ensued. The family survived. Rebel Heart was lost at sea. Their story became a stage for an extended debate on parenting and risk-taking, a referendum on what kinds of lives adults are expected to live, on the nature of selfishness, responsibility, and love. In The Sea Wife, Amity Gage uses this story as the spark for a family you are about to fall in love with. Juliet and Michael Partlow, who set off with their 2 young children for the adventure of their lives and find their marriage transformed and tested by the wonders and perils of a long ocean voyage. Smart, sophisticated, stylistically daring, this is both effortless page-turning suspense and literary fiction at its finest. Exactly the delectable beach read we all crave. So that is Sea Wife. Next, I have Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. And this is a debut novel for Elizabeth Thomas. And she set out to write the kind of story she loved as a young girl. A tale of surreal intrigue and dark secrets, daring damsels trapped in ghostly, intricate manners. She then brilliantly recast these elements for a new generation, with her pitch-perfect mix of realism and horror, an elite campus setting, and all led by a supremely modern heroine. And the house itself might be one of the novel's most captivating characters. Dark and dusty and oh so gothic, Catherine is a crumbling and isolated institution, almost castle-like in its splendor, and populated by an incredibly diverse cast. Part mystery, part gothic horror, part story of a young woman in search of meaning and a sense of belonging in the world, Catherine House is so delicious, so twisty and immersive, I swear you will never want to leave. That is Catherine House. The third book is Boys of Alabama by Genevieve Hudson. This one is a coming-of-age novel told with magical realism that guides us through 16-year-old Max's first year in America. In this bewitching first novel, a sensitive teen newly arrived in Alabama falls in love, questions his faith, and navigates a strange power. While his German parents don't know what to make of a South pining for the past, shy Max thrives in the thick heat. Taken in by rowdy football players, he learns how to catch a spiraling ball, point a gun, and hide his innermost secrets. When Max meets fishnet-wearing Pan in chemistry class, they embark on an all-consuming relationship. Max tells Pan about his supernatural powers, and Pan tells Max about the snake poison initiations of a local church. The boys, however, aren't sure what is more frightening, embracing their true selves or masking it. Evoking Dorothy Allison, Lambda Award finalist Genevieve Hudson offers a nuanced portrait of masculinity, immigration, and the adolescent pressures that require total conformity. In short, a 21st century South that would have been unimaginable to the late Harper Lee. And that is The Boys of Alabama. Next, we have a comedy, Siri Who Am I by Sam Cheetah. Memento reimagined for the social media era in this hilarious comedy about a young woman who uses her Instagram account to retrace her steps after she wakes up in a Los Angeles hospital with no memory of who she is or who she's claiming to be. Mia might look like a millennial, but she was born yesterday. Emerging from a coma with a head wound and amnesia, she can't remember her name until Siri Assistant on her iPhone provides it. Based on her cool hairstyle, undercut with glamorous waves, dress, Prada, and signature lipstick, Chanel, Mia senses she's wealthy, but the only way to know is to retrace her steps. Using Instagram and Uber, she arrives at a pink duplex she calls home in her posts. But Max, an off-duty postdoc supplementing his income with a house-sitting gig, tells her the house belongs to a French billionaire. Mia can't argue. There's no evidence that she's even been there before. As she works backward through her Instagram and across Los Angeles, she discovers a trail of disasters that led to the night of her accident, which might not have been an accident after all. Without ID, family, or friends, Mia enlists Max to help her right the wrongs of her recent past. But can she do that if she doesn't understand the truth behind her lies? Siri, who am I? And the last book is Paris Never Leaves You by Ellen Feldman. Living through World War II with her young daughter Vivi, working in a Paris bookstore, and fighting for her life, Charlotte is no victim. She is a survivor. But can she survive the next chapter of her life? Alternating between wartime Paris and 1950s New York publishing, Paris Never Leaves You is an extraordinary story of resilience, love, and impossible choices, exploring how survival never comes without a cost. And this book is the only one that has not been released yet. It releases next week, so keep checking the library catalog for when we have this one on order, and go ahead and put that on hold. So those are the books that I have for you today. I'll post the titles and the authors in the comments. And thank you for joining me. I will see you all next week. Have a good night.